Hello, my name is Robert Pembroke. I thought I'd tell you about my model Halifax aircraft that I made using paper mache and bits and pieces of recyclable materials that one might throw in the bin. For example, it's got ice cream sticks for the propellers. For the observation bubbles in the fuselage, there are, you know, the bottom of those plastic bottles, the funny shape they are. I found that those bubbles at the base can form the bubbles for the observation turrets for the machine gunners. For example, this one at the back here. And underneath you'll notice that the wheel carriages look remarkably similar to the soft drink ring pulls on cans. So it uses, let's see, paper mache, recycled products, a little bit of grey paint, a bit of pencil work, a little bit of coloured paper, and voila, there it is. And it's really inexpensive to make one. What made me think about making it was that my uncle, he's deceased now, a long time ago now. He actually worked in the midsection of the plane as a machine gunner on the Halifax Aircraft. He was part of a RAF, a Royal Air Force contingent that at the time came from Australia. If I recall, it was the 460 Squadron. His name is Les Davies. The remarkable thing I thought about when I was looking at the Halifax aircraft was that it had an altitude, high altitude speed of about, in the metric, about 400 kilometres an hour or thereabouts. And let's see miles per hour, that's about 260 miles per hour. It had the capacity to carry, let's see, about 2,600 kilograms of bombs, but it could carry double that if it was only on a shorter run. And let's see, that's about 6,800 pounds of bombs. Yeah, it's a lot of bombs. If you correctly targeted the enemy, then there wouldn't be much chance of escaping, would there? It had 7 crew on board, and as I said, my uncle, he worked in the midship as a gunner, and he flew over occupied France to the German-occupied Ruhr Valley, where their job was to make it very difficult for the factories there, the industrial complexes, to provide the logistics for the infrastructure that would make way for the landing at Normandy. It would make it a lot easier, and it wasn't easy, was it? So had they not done that, the D-Day landing may not have been as successful as it was, and by all accounts it wasn't much fun being there anyway on that day. But that was part of their job. So the aircraft itself, it had these 4 huge propeller engines. You see them now? And it had, let's see, that was 1,615 horsepower in each engine. So they really roared, make an absolutely huge roaring sound when they were going. The cruising height was about the equivalent of, say, you know, Mount Kosciuszko. I think it's about 7,000 feet. Yeah. So if you can imagine 3 times the height of Mount Kosciuszko, that was the cruising altitude for the deployment of the weapons, the bombs. And as I say, it could have carried a lot more bombs, but its range would have been shorter. With, say, 2,600 kilograms of bombs, it could have a fuel range that allowed it to travel 3,000 kilometres. That's a long way, isn't it? So it was in terms of length, it was far longer than, say, the Spitfire could support. So the Spitfire aircraft that could provide support part of the way into the German occupied territory, it couldn't go all the way. So there's a point there where the Halifax has to go into enemy territory without any assistance whatsoever. It has to deliver the bombs, and then it has to navigate successfully back across enemy territory to England. So it's quite an amazing feat, isn't it, for the crew? And it is a true accolade to the navigators and the crew on board the Halifax. They must have done a good job. And what they made up for in skill, they were able to achieve in sheer numbers, because they would send a lot of these planes across in fleets when the enemy least expected it. So anyway, I thought I'd show you that. It's an amazing aircraft. It's a great model too, isn't it? Very inexpensive. You can make it yourself. If you're into it. And I'll put on a link up where you can see the interview, or hear the interview, with one of the flight crew on Halifax, and that person is my uncle Les Davies, and I believe the interviewer is the equally famous, I think, is it Alan Gould? Yeah, he was quite famous at the time with the ABC, wasn't he? Anyway, I'll put it up. I'll see you later. Have a lovely day. I'll put up some pictures as well, yeah?
Many thanks to the University of Lincoln Historical Archives War Studies Department, my comrade Mr. Les Davies, ABC/BBC presenter Alan Gould, Mr. Robert Pembroke, and of course that wonderful resource, Wikimedia Commons. Thank you. Sir David Attenborough speaking.